Good evening. We bring you the latest in the world of sports and the conversations you want to hear from your favorite icons and athletes. I'm Paulo De Rosario and I'll be joined by Tyler Tia tonight. In tonight's game plan, all hail SJ Belangel. The young point guard drained the game winner against South Korea, sending our very own Gilas Pilipinas to the FIBA Asia Cup. We'll talk about SJ and everything else about that big time Gilas Pilipinas win. And we'll break down the long list of wild headlines in the NBA, from Trae Young and the Hawks' epic 26-point comeback, Playoff B showing up for the Clippers, and LeBron James' unexpected rant on social media. Buckle up, sports fans. Let's get in the game. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, aking minamahal na kababayan, it is such a beautiful time for Philippine basketball. Down by as much as 17 points, Gilas Pilipinas made their way back in the ball game. 5 players scoring in double figures, and in the end, it only took 2 magical seconds, for SJ Belangel to drain the game-winning 3, send Gilas Pilipinas to the FIBA Asia Cup. Now, if you weren't on it, let's get on that Gilas Pilipinas hype train. Here to talk to us about what happened after that amazing Korea win is SBP Media Officer Carlo Pamintuan. Carlo, incredible ending. How was the vibe at the venue, around the team?
Everyone was trying to, calm themselves down, but of course it was an explosive celebration after SJ Belangel hit that one. I was actually seated on the opposite side of the court, but when I saw SJ launch it really looked good. So, but again, you had to go to work right after, so you just pump your fist and then you go on with your day, go on with your goals here inside the bubble.
Carlo, what's the mood like? I know Coach Tab preaches about staying in the moment, but how are the boys going into the next game?
The mood inside the dugout was, of course, it was celebratory. Of course, they were happy. But Coach Tab made light of it. He said that he's proud of them, of what they achieved, and that they could celebrate it until they were done lifting their weights that evening. He was joking about it because Gilas was actually reserved at the gym at, I think, 9 p.m. and then they would have dinner after that. But he joked that they could celebrate up until that point. They know that it was something that would be a statement for this squad, but they also know that it was just one step. They're not overly celebrating. They're focused on the next task at hand, which is Indonesia. And actually, I was able to join some of the coaches, all of the coaches rather, in their meeting late that night. It was already back to work. It was a big win. Now it's done. Now it's time to move on to the next one.
Carlo, we all saw the photos, we all saw the videos of that pizza party right after the victory. And we even saw that the coaches had a bit of pizza during the film viewing. Now, my big question here is, who ate that last piece? Or iniwan lang ba talaga? Kasi that Pinoy piece of pizza that was left in the photo kind of let a lot of people's mind boggle there.
I also want to know if SJ was the one who treated everyone to the pizza.
Hindi. Si Ma'am Yvette Ruiz yung nanlibre ng pizza with ice cream, of course. Ako na yung kumuha dun sa last slice ng pizza because no one was getting it. But you know what? What's amazing about this team, hanging out with them for the last, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, even starting with Kalamba, is when you ask them about South Korea, they will not tell you about the heartaches. People my age, people older, will tell you about the Asian Games or the 2017 FIBA Asia Cup or any other South Korea game that we lost. They would talk to you about their memory of losing those games. Not this team. This team was 2013. Yun yung naiisip nila. That was the only memory of many of these players because they're young. Naalala nila sila Pingris, sila Jason Castro, Jimmy Alapag, remembering that moment, remembering how many people were celebrating, were on the verge of tears at the Mall of Asia Arena after that big victory. And Dwight Ramos told me that if we could somehow replicate something like that with this team, then we would have achieved something really big. And they did. Yun nga lang, walang fans dito sa AUF Arena, but I'm sure that all over the country, all basketball fans, all Filipino basketball fans were jubilant with that victory.
Well, it's amazing what those kids have done, especially with the history, as you mentioned, between South Korea and the Philippines. Thank you very much for telling us that you did eat that last slice of pizza. I would be disappointed if that went to waste. But you talked a bit about the mindset, what they're trying to do, trying to stay calm, trying to stay in the moment. But I'm sure guys like SJ probably didn't sleep last night, still high on the moment.
I don't know if he slept or not, but I'm sure he enjoyed the attention. I'm sure everyone did. I'm sure everyone was looking on social media and seeing what the reaction was to their performance, and it was overwhelmingly positive. But you have Tyler there, you have many Ateneo players on the show, and they will tell you that the mindset in that 16-0 season was that you have to forget about what happened in the game that you already won. Moving on, moving forward, the next game is more important. So I think that with the Tab Baldwin training, I think he'll be able to get over that big moment to prepare himself better for the next game against Indonesia.
Carlo, as a Lasallian, that really hurts that you had to bring that up. But thank
That's
you
why I
very
had to
much.
say it.
Thank you very much for your update, Carlo. We always love hearing from you from the bubble. Stay safe in there, and we hope to talk to you soon. All right, thank you very much, Carlo Pamintuan. And now to joining us to talk more about the miraculous SJ Belangel game winner, our PBA Rush analyst Charles Chu, and two-time UAAP champion Rafi Verano. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. And Charles, I'm going to start with you here. That last play, I think we're going to go on and talk about that more and more. A lot of people have replayed it over and over again. And it felt like it wasn't supposed to be that way. But it all worked out. It felt like a lucky shot, still went in.
Hey, that's basketball for you, right? Coach Tab drew up a play. He gave his options. Obviously, I think they wanted to go to Carl Tamayo first, and that didn't happen. But you just give credit to Dwight for the presence of mind to still find SJ. But I think SJ should deserve all the credit. You know, he made a tough shot. There was a huge defender, and that was a huge shot. But I think the story really was that we fought back despite facing an early deficit. We locked down defense, and I think we could have easily folded. A very young team. They were pressuring us, but you know what? They adjusted, and they were able to overcome that.
Well, Tyler, we were talking off the air how you're actually familiar with SJ, and you and Rafi actually. Could you tell us a bit more about these moments like this?
Actually, I was the one who taught him how to make that game.
Ikaw talaga.
Yeah. He got that from me, actually.
Raf, is that true? Did
Raf,
you get it
back me
from
up
I vouch. I'll vouch for
I told
Trae.
you. That was me. That was
You're
all
too
me.
nice. You're too nice. Okay, this show is not about being nice. But yes, good. Please
No,
go
but,
on.
Yeah. On a more serious note, SJ definitely deserves all the credit. I mean, the guy works super hard. I remember from before the pandemic, we would work after practice, get shots up. So that's just the type of player he is, and I'm really happy for him. And Raf, we were teammates with SJ, and we've seen him perform time and time again. What did you think of his performance? Were you surprised?
Actually, no, I wasn't surprised at all. I mean, SJ. I mean, we both know that SJ can perform. I mean, we've all seen that in practice. We've all seen that in the UAP, and he just came to perform and did his job. I mean, what a shot! Hats off to him.
Yeah,
All those hours.
It's incredible what he did. And again, surprisingly enough, as Charles mentioned, that play was actually set up for Carl Tamayo. Let's hear what Coach Tab has to say about that.
And the play wasn't for SJ. He was a secondary option, and Dwight made the right play getting the ball to SJ. But the play was really designed for Carl Tamayo underneath the basket to try and get him established there and get the foul. We felt, he'd done really well in the post during the game, and we run a little action that hopefully gets him a very deep post up. But I think Dwight saw that Ratliff had switched on to Carl, and that probably wasn't the matchup we wanted to attack. So the secondary option was give it to SJ and try and make a play, and boy did he make a play.
Well, going to make a play, and Coach Tab talking about Dwight's role in that. Raf, when you have a guy like Dwight making high IQ basketball plays, keeping cool in moments like that and finding the right guy, what does that say about, one, how Dwight made that decision, and two, the type of confidence that Coach Tab instills in the boys?
I mean, you just can't teach that. I mean, that's IQ coming from Dwight. I mean, that's great IQ coming in from him to see that Ratliff was on Tamayo. and seeing SJ was open for the shot. And I think Coach Tab preaches that he has confidence in everyone, to take a shot when they need to, show up when they have to, you know.
Yeah, I think the beauty of Coach Tab's set plays is you got multiple options all the time. You have multiple entry passes, so I think that really helped our boys a lot too.
Absolutely. And of course, the man of the hour, SJ Belangel, had to say this about his own buzzer beater.
Luckily na, ayun, pumasok yung 3 points ko. Tsaka thank you lang sa kay God na natupad yung mga pangarap namin as a team, di ba? Na manalo sa first game namin dito. Tapos, nagpapasalamat din ako sa mga fans. Siyempre, na buong suporta kahit paano. So, ayun, sobrang saya.
Hair withstanding, SJ Belangel definitely stood out. Charles, SJ had a great moment in the end, but it really wasn't just about the game winner. He was excellent throughout the entire game, wasn't he?
Absolutely, Pao. He impressed me a lot from the get. I even tweeted at one point that he reminded me so much of my brother because he's just so dirty. Sorry, but we're all Filipino here, so it's all cool. He has so many mga pasimple, all these little things. And for the smallest guy, I was like, wow, he was giving it to all these Korean dudes, and I was like, man, this guy is really tough. But I heard he had a really good camp, and I was told that he's one guy that was flying under the radar. Nobody was talking about him, but with the absence of Matt Nieto, he solidified his hold on that point guard spot, and I think he really proved it well. He showed composure. He got baskets off their offense, which is impressive. He made so many reads, and he was just so tough. I mean, and all of this, obviously, apart from the fact that he hit the biggest basket.
Looking at that again, and as we mentioned, we know we all love what he did. Let's take a look at some of the reactions on his hair first, as we talk about how great he is. SJ basically coming out and he put Gilas Pilipinas back on social media in a great way based on that type of win. And we look at some of the reactions here. Coach Tim Cone in general saying that the only thing missing was a full house in Araneta or Mall of Asia Arena or the Philippine Arena. Could you imagine a packed Philippine Arena for that?
That would have been crazy.
That would have been crazy. Raph, when you see this type of reaction online, how excited would you be to see a Gilas game with this group live with thousands of screaming Filipino fans?
Oh man, I would be off my seat the whole time, man. It would be super exciting to watch this team play in a packed full arena, man.
It actually reminds me that maybe because of the team, it might be like the UAAP in some ways. Here's a look at some of the reactions, actually comparing what happened on social media on to a UAAP game. They say that UAAP Twitter comes back to life, sort of, with this Gilas game. And again, as a Lasallian, I am mortified. I am terrified at how good this Ateneo team, this Gilas Pilipinas team is.
You said it.
No, yeah. Look, that's the reason why I'm wearing blue today, because because it was basically all the Ateneo guys doing work. But Tyler, this is such a young group, and I don't think we can just ease past that how young this group is and how cohesive they are early on.
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that, you said it, they're mostly Atenean, so the fact that they've played together the past few years definitely helps, and I'm sure they passed on that knowledge to the other players as well.
They're mostly Ateneans, according to our good friend here, Charles. That SJ plays like a very dirty former Ateneo Blue Eagle. And
I have a lot of bruises from SJ.
Yeah, a lot of bruises from SJ. Okay, so that settles it. He is a dirty player, but he's our dirty player. After the break, from St. Dwight Ramos to future UB Fighter Maroon Carl Tamayo, we'll be talking more about the big-time performances from that Gilas win. Keep it here. You're watching the game. Welcome back to the game. I'm Pablo De Rosario. As happy as we are because Gilas Pilipinas has already qualified in the FIBA Asia Cup, our young and promising national team is not yet done. Gilas Pilipinas will face off against Indonesia tomorrow, June 18, and we will get to see 3 new faces in the squad. Jordan Heading, Gio Chu, and Lebron Lopez are now in the lineup as well. And looking at this, there was actually a quick update. Javi Gomez de Liano will still be in the lineup, and Will Navarro will not be there. So now SJ Belangel might be the hero against Korea, but we did see other outstanding performances as well. Still with us to discuss more Gilas Pilipinas are Tyler Tio, Charles Chu, and Rafi Verano. Now, before we go anywhere, let us, we have to clear things up here. Charles, you have something to say.
Yes. I will rephrase. Hindi naman dirty. Magulang lang. Baka naman sabihin magulang lang. You know, they're just so tough and it hurts.
I was just riding with what Coach Charles said.
You're a follower. No, actually, I follow too. I called him dirty. Pero tama yan eh. There's no real direct translation to yung gulang eh.
Yes.
Magulang si SJ Belangel, and we saw that today. Very physical. Very much like Chris. Yeah, very much like Chris. And so yes, not dirty. We take that back with the strongest possible force. So anyway, let us now move on and talk a bit about these guys in particular. Raf, I want to start with you. Carl Tamayo, in general, I'm starting with a non-Atenean, sorry guys. In general, he played big, beyond his age, and added size that we sorely needed. Your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, he played a great game. Came to show, like Coach Tab said. I mean, they saw him dominating the paint, getting easy buckets or some tough buckets also. The last play was for him, but you know, like Coach said, Ratliff was on him, and that's the play they didn't want, and he delivered. Excellent game coming from him.
Oh, how about now we go with an Atenean? Is that okay, Pao?
Okay, sige.
Dwight, you know Dwight from way back in LA, right, Raf? What did you think of his
Yeah.
performance? Were you surprised?
No, I wasn't surprised. I mean, it was like one of those silent assassins, you know, silent 16. Shot the ball well. He did his job. He kept everyone composed. Controlled the floor well. You know, pushed the ball when needed. He did everything he needed to do.
Yeah, you know, the great thing about Dwight is it seems like he never gets rattled. So definitely need that, especially on a young team.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, speaking about this young group, a lot of expectations were on our big men, Ange, Kouame, and Kai Sotto. But we take a look at this first. Certain one, Gomez de Liano, believes that Dwight Ramos is NBA ready, and Charles is shaking his head because it's like, yeah,
He's good, but he's not NBA ready. I'm sorry, man. Come on,
Let's
man.
calm down. Let's calm down here.
all right. No, that's fair. I think that's not a big take to say let's calm down about that one. And obviously we have another one coming in saying that I can sleep peacefully knowing I can call Carl Tamayo a fighting maroon. Again, the green side in me is shaking, honestly.
Yo, he's gonna be tough.
He's
This
gonna be
upcoming
tough.
UAP
He's gonna be
season.
huge.
Good luck, Raf.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah.
Charles, you're talking about these guys, Kai Sotto, Ange Kouame. They had a lot of expectations riding on them. Do you felt that they met those expectations?
I think so. I think Kai played really well. He played better than I expected, obviously, with the time that he had to try and catch up. He played very well. I don't think he's NBA ready yet, but he's heading to the right direction. Ange Kouame had a bit of a slow start, but you could see in the second half, I mean, the coaching staff must have said something to him, but he had that green light to shoot that three ball. And Ratliff had no respect, and that was big. 2 times he shot the 3 on Ratliff. But those 2 big guys were great. I think in the first half too, they didn't want to match them up with Ratliff.
Yeah.
To kind of save their fouls and maybe, you know, because they knew Ratliff gets his buckets in the second half. But in the second half, they made that adjustment. Those 2 guys started to guard Ratliff, and it was a big difference for our team.
We're looking at some of the highlights there from Kai. 11 points in Gilas' return against Korea. And of course, Ange Kouame, he started to drain threes all over the place. But then we also have to mention RJ Abarrientos in general. RJ came out from the bench looking like a certain Johnny A. And just finding ways to get things done. Your thoughts on his impact coming in as a substitute and basically shocking everyone. And then you see here a thread saying that he is a pure hooper. And reminder po, hindi siya yung anak ni Johnny A. Pamangkin lang.
Well, first of all, good luck to me this time in the upcoming UAP season. But looking forward to facing him. RJ was, I mean, like you said, he's a baller. He came in, provided instant offense, and just basically changed the complexion of the game coming off the bench.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was huge for us.
All right, so now let's go preview a bit more of the Gilas going up against Indonesia. Not a great result for Indonesia today, losing a big against South Korea. And Charles, you're very familiar with how Indonesia is run. They're familiar with their coach, you're familiar with some of their players. This is going this may be a trap game for Gilas Pilipinas in the sense that on paper, Gilas are actually favored. But this may be difficult just riding high on the confidence level.
Yeah, and this is why I like that we're a young team. Because you're young, you don't think about us. You're not going to relax. Your gas is on that pedal every time. I mean, our youth showed a bit in the game against Korea. We had our moments of lapses, but they fought, they persevered, and that's what I like the most about it. Now against Indonesia, Coach Tab, there's no way he's going to let their guards down after that showing. So they're going to be ready. Look, Indonesia, they're all right. They have a really good coach, my good friend. They have some nice offense, but there's no way that they're in our level. Their import, Prosper, doesn't look like he wants to play anyway, although he did have a good second half. But I think it's a game that we should be able to take care of rather easily.
For sure.
Absolutely. Will be a test there for the big men in particular, trying to handle Lester Prosper. And let's see what happens when Gilas takes on Indonesia. Now, after the break.
We'll break down the epic playoff performances from Trae Young and Paul George today, as well as a long list of headlines that kept NBA fans up and glued on their phones all night. Stay tuned, you're watching The Game.
Welcome back to The Game. I'm Paulo De Rosario. It's been a wild 24 hours for the NBA universe, but let's kick things off with an epic comeback courtesy of the Hawks in the Eastern Conference. Take a look at that, 109 and 106, 39 points with Trae Young, Joel Embiid, and Seth Curry combining with 37 and 36 respectively. And you look at those numbers and you think that, hey, you know what, it was a close game all throughout. But no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. 26-point comeback for the Hawks against the Sixers. And it was a disaster for all the Philly fans out there. Incredible. Now looking at the other game in the series, on the West, yeah, okay, so right, 119, 111, the Clippers get it. Paul George was great, okay. You know what, Tyler, I'm gonna leave you with this one because I can't get through talking about this.
You know what, first of all, to all the haters of Paul George, he showed them. I think, Coach Charles, are you one of those haters?
I wouldn't say hater, but he has to prove himself. I mean, he played well, he's been playing well, but hey, they haven't won anything, so you got to win
It's
first.
not done yet.
Right?
You see, that's why we're friends, Charles. That's why we're friends.
You gotta give him his credit though, right?
Yeah,
he
I
played
mean, like, he
great.
had one
He
good
played
game,
great, for
yeah,
sure.
but we're not done yet. But okay, so I want to talk a bit about. I want to move on to talk about anything apart from that. So, Raph, I want to ask you about this Hawks comeback in particular. 26 points, it's crazy. People literally started having meals and then were surprised that when they were done with their meals, it turns out the Sixers were done as well. What happened?
Man, I don't even know. I tuned in halftime. I saw Philly was up something, and then I went to go work out. I came back, and Philly lost. And then I think
Basically
I
the
saw
story for
on
everyone.
Instagram or ESPN that I think Embiid and Curry were the only ones to score a field goal in the second half, which is wild to me.
Yeah,
I was so surprised.
absolutely. Now, we got our big games out of the way, thank goodness. And since we got a lot of headlines to talk about today, we're going to ask our fine guests to play a simple game. A game that we like to call Go Big or Go Home.
They could have chosen a better photo.
Oh, okay. First of all, great photos.
They
that,
could have chosen
that
a better
our prod
photo.
chose
Come on, man.
there.
We gotta
I
talk
mean,
to-
like, Charles, you got to help us out. You got to send us your favorite photos.
Man.
Okay, let's start this out. Go big or go home. If you agree, you say you'll go big. If you don't, go home. All right, we're gonna start off with this one. Raph, this one's for you. The Trae Young hype train is for real, and the Hawks are dark horse contenders for an NBA championship. Go big or go home.
I think I'm gonna go big on this one.
Really?
Ooh,
okay.
okay.
So
Yeah.
you believe
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Trae Young. What do you like about that?
I don't know. Trae Young just proven himself lately. I mean, this whole season he's been performing, and the hype train. I'm on that hype train. I'm chewing my way to Atlanta.
All right. Tyler, I'll let you ask him this one.
All right, for Coach Charles, go big or go home. The Clippers close out the top-seeded Jazz without Kawhi Leonard.
Go home means I don't agree, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go home.
Yes, sir! Yes, sir! That's my
Okay.
guy!
There is a lot of concern though
I don't
because
know
they
about
can't,
that.
they
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
figure out the small ball lineup of the Clippers. But I don't think they can win without Kawhi.
Okay, all right. No, I get you. Okay, so since we're out of time, I'm going to figure out which one we should go for here. And Raph, this is for you. Coach, I'll let you answer this as well. Go big or go home. LeBron James surprise rant on Twitter criticizing the NBA schedule with fans not seeing their favorite superstars. The schedule's a problem. Go big or go home, Raph.
Ooh, I think I'm gonna go big on this one.
Really? You think the schedule is an issue? Charles, before we let him explain, what do you think?
Go big too, but let him explain.
Okay, Raph, let's let you explain first. Coach says so.
I mean, I think LeBron hit the nail on the head on that one. Injuries and rest are super important part of the game. I mean, I woke up this morning to who's in Kawhi, right?
Yeah.
Possible ACL injury. That's bad. I mean, as Clippers are riding this wave with playoff P, and possibly can have Kawhi out, and like Coach Charles said, could be a go home factor for them.
Absolutely. Raph, Charles, thank you very much for joining us on that one. We have a lot more questions, and next time we have more time, we're going to give you harder ones, and hopefully you won't be able to answer them without being scared for yourself on social media. Thank you very much. I'm Paolo Del Rosario. He's Tyler Tio, and this has been The Game.